Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to take a look at one of the strongest teams for the Summer Cup. We're going to have a team here with the Diggersby, the Pelipper in the lead, and the Charjabug as a say swap. This is a team that a lot of the top players are currently running, and I also encountered quite often in like most likely high elo range right now because I have queue times of like 10 minutes. But this team was insane. Like this team was very solid to run. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but Pelipper, if you actually really get used to it, like Pelipper is so strong on the current meta. Yes, you're going to have the double weakness to Charjabug, but you have Charjabug as your own say swap, and you're also going to have the Diggersby in the back, which is one of the best answers for this Pokemon, especially with that Fire Punch. As you can see here in the first battle, we had a great lead of Magcargo, we had the say swap from the opponent of a Trevenant, and we were able to align ourselves while using an extra shield, which is totally fine. We were able to align our Pelipper against the opponent's last Pokemon, which is going to be that Decidueye, and so we can align ourselves. We knew from the beginning that the Magcargo has no way to really deal with that Diggersby as well as the lead that we had here of Pelipper. So basically for us, we didn't really care too much about keeping our Pelipper alive as long as we were able to align ourselves. And alignment is quite important for this team as well. You have kinda a very solid core, like Diggersby is weak to like, what is it, like water type Pokemon, which you're going to resist with your lead. You're weak to fighting type Pokemon, which you're going to resist with your lead. So like basically the core of Diggersby plus Mantine or Pelipper is kind of flawless, and the say swap of Charjabug in between is definitely helping out quite a bit as well. Here we're able to even catch that frenzy plan from the opponent. With this game is over. They have to go for a Brave Bird here, but they don't even go for it, and we can move on to the next opponent. So, for the next opponent, I have to say, this player actually went to my DMs on Twitter just before this battle here and kind of talked about his team, and so I knew what they had in the back, like I knew exactly what they had, and so I could have played it, like I was actually playing a little bit reckless here as well because I kind of know how to align myself. You're gonna see what I mean with that as well, because I just went ahead and went for the obvious plays. I didn't like wait out any turns or whatever. If they caught the move, I don't really care too much because we had a great lead already of the Trevenant. I know that they have the say swap here of the Jellicent here apparently. I think it's always the Jellicent, but I know already what they have in the back, and I kind of know that my Diggersby is going to appreciate that Pokemon quite a bit as well, and so I kind of needed to keep alignment. Alignment was key for me. I know it's going to be a little bit tricky now against the Trevenant, because Trevenant is going to be able to go for that Shadow Ball, and most likely gonna nearly knock me out. But I don't even need to go for the Hurricane. As long as I survive this, and as long as I get some damage onto them, I'm happy. I don't really need to go for the Hurricane, which is like way too much of an prediction there or whatever. I just want the damage here from the Weather Ball, and I can swap out now. And now I can just go straight for the Fire Punch. I know, like, if the opponent gonna catch this move, I don't really care too much either about this, because I can still outspeed them now to the Scorching Sand, very likely. Oh, maybe they actually outspeed me. No, they don't. And so Scorching Sand is going to be able to connect against the opponent, going to be able to drop no stat. Honestly, I don't feel like I don't know. Like, I applied against Scald quite often now recently as well, after the current nerf to like 30%. I got so many Scald debuffs against me. With Scorching Sands, it's also a 30% chance to drop the opponent's stats, but like, I barely ever get this. I don't know if it's the same for you or not, but it is kind of mad, I feel like. Anyway, we're going to be able to go for that charge move here. We still were able to keep the Fire Punch, and so we were able to knock them out, of course, because I knew what they had in the bag. I kind of was able to align myself accordingly. Next opponent, we're going to have here a great lead for us and even a better say swap. But again, you saw already there's a Whiscash there. What you kind of want to do here is you want to stay in, you want to go for a charge move, but now you want to swap out after 2 more fast moves. Why? Diggersby can take a Shadow Ball, of course, it's a normal type Pokemon, but also a Disarming Voice, and also you can align yourself. But also, the more important thing though, is that you can keep your lead for that Whiscash and align yourself like with a guarantee basically here. We're going to be able to go up for another charge move. The opponent cannot really do anything against it. They're gonna go down from that Scorching Sands, and yes, they can align their Whiscash now, but the Whiscash is going to meet again our Pelipper. Because we went for a Scorching Sands there, and the opponent still has to go for a Scald, we're also going to have the Switch Clock up again, and it does not really matter at all for anyone here. So like, it is going to be such an easy alignment, at least here for us. We have to see what they have in the back though. They decide to stay in here, and this means they're very likely kind of weak to me in the back as well. We have to see if this is actually the case. Scald is coming through. As said before, like, they always get the debuff against me, even though it's like 30% chance, and Scorching Sands never does it for me. But as you can see, the Weather Ball is going to connect here. We will be able to go ahead and go for that Weather Ball again, and we should actually be able to just outspeed them again here. And honestly, Pelipper is just such a monster. It is such a good Pokemon to play, and we will see the Whiscash basically having no chance at all. We can go for another charge move, and this is going to be it for this one. A weak connection, and we can move on to some more neutral leads. So Vigoroth having access to that rock side is a little bit of a trickier one to deal with here, but it is still okay for us, because what we're going to see now is that the opponent is going to decide to go ahead and go for the bait. They usually go for the bait, but you cannot really risk it. But still, you're going to always outspeed them. You're always going to outspeed them. Their fast move is resisted, your fast move is neutral. You usually should be able to have an okay time here. They might be able to win this one if they bait twice or whatever, but you're always going to get them low. Like, you're always going to get them low. They decide to go for the rock side now, which is fine. We can overfarm by a little bit. We're going to get them insanely low, and that's totally okay for us. Like, we're going to just play this one out, and we see the Charge Bug coming in. The opponent got damage on our Pelipper, which is not supposed to happen. This was just due to lag, which is, of course, great. And now they can catch the move on the Quagsire, which is also a little bit tricky. Against Charge Bug in general, also if you're going to encounter it in the lead, always go for one wing attack and then swap out. You never, at least usually, unless like the game is like it is here right now, you're never gonna get hit by the Volt Switch on the Pelipper. The damage is going to transfer over to the Charge Bug, and you're just gonna get a free fast move in basically, which is kinda cool. Here we were still able to align ourselves. The opponent goes straight for a charge move. If it's a discharge, happy for them. It is going to be the discharge, cool. Doesn't really matter. We can go ahead and go into our Diggersby, and this game is over. Diggersby is like such a strange, strong matchup for us here. Like, literally, there's nothing the opponent can do here. Fast move is going to be double resisted, and the opponent just stays in here for whatever reason, which I don't really like, because I would like to get the battle done quite fast here, but as you're going to see as well, Fire Punch is coming through, is going to get the shield, and the opponent is just keep going on here with those Exodus. I don't know why, but like, it's clear that this game is over. They still try their best here. I don't really know, like, they had zero energy after this one. Like, what do you really want to do here? Do you hope for a crit? Now they decide to forfeit. It's just forfeit, like, I don't know, 10 minutes before that? I don't know. Next opponent, Mantine. You have to stay in here. Again, it's kind of a neutral lead for you. You're going to go straight for the Hurricane. Straight for the Hurricane gives you like one of two things. Either you get a ton of damage, which we do here, or you get a shield. Both of them, totally happy. If you go for Weather Ball, you either get like a shield, of course, and you're going to keep your energy, which is kind of cool, or you're going to be in a very difficult spot there at the end of the day, because the opponent let the move go through and you barely did any damage to them. And so it is just better to go for the Hurricane. Don't go for the bait there. It doesn't really make too much sense. Anyway, don't do what I did there as well. I should have not swapped out into my Charge Bug. I should have just played out the matchup, because at the end of the day, now the opponent might be able to align themselves perfectly with that Mantine, and this might bite me back later on. Like, if I just basically played out the lead, even if I lost it, I would be able to align my, what's called the Charge Bug perfectly against the opponent's Mantine, which would have been totally fine for me. And like this, I was stuck in a matchup that I didn't want to be stuck in. The opponent actually still survives this, and they're going to have a Kingdra in the back. This game is not over yet, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a trickier one at this point. Scorching Sands is going to connect. Again, doesn't get the debuff as always. And I have to hope that they don't get the debuff as well. 50% chance, let's see. They don't, and this is very important. It's like the only way where we have still a chance of winning this battle. I am going to go ahead and go for that Fire Punch. It is going to get the shield. Now I have to go for that Scorching Sands and hope that this is going to be enough to knock out that Shadow Kingdra. It is going to connect, and we're gonna see it is not gonna get a debuff again. But yeah, it is also going to not be enough to knock them out, and so they're going to knock me out. I can go for the full farm, then I still have a shield left. The opponent has a move, sadly, on the Diggersby. I was hoping that they didn't, and this kind of game over because they also have a move on the Mantine. If they didn't have the move on the Diggersby, I would have been able to most likely win the battle, but like this, I'm sadly not, and we can move on to the next opponent. So, we're going to have a Quagsire here in the lead. This is going to be, of course, a little bit of a neutral one still, because Quagsire has access to the move Stone Edge. And Stone Edge is going to one-shot you. And so, while it seems like, oh, Mud Boy against water and like flying type Pokemon, it would be a good one, it is usually actually not, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, we're going to see here the Toxapex coming in. We're going to still be able to align ourselves with a Diggersby, which is kind of cool. And we can also easily take 2 Bryans here from the opponent. And as you can see here, Scorching Sands coming back in here as well. This is going to be able to just, yeah, not knock them out because I undercharged it. And I can get even some more energy, which is going to help us out quite a bit. Let's see what is coming in against us next. It's going to be that Quagsire again. We can align ourselves with that, yeah, Scorching Sand, which is kind of cool, but yeah, Quagsire can be a little bit tricky for this team. While the lead is going to be kind of neutral still, as it's also in the neutral lead section, it is definitely a trickier one depending on how everything kind of goes, because yeah, you have It has coverage for both of the Pokemon you have in the back. Like, Mud Boys are definitely a little bit trickier. Like, honestly, Mud Boys are not as tricky. Like, a Whiscash, totally fine. A Swampert, totally fine, because Elite is going to be able to beat them. But with the Quagsire, they sadly have access to Stone Edge, which is a completely different game. And yeah, it is making it all a little bit more awkward. Here, we have a little bit of attack investment on our Charjabug, and we see already why this is going to be quite helpful, as we will be able to reach this next extra in time as well. We were able to win the CMP type previously. They decided to use a shield. I'm forced to use a shield now as well, I think. I am. And I should be able to win the CMP tie, but I swap out and they swap out, and so it's down to us taking a charge move from the opponent. I decided to go for the Weather Ball, and now we're gonna see why this is not a very easy win for this lead here, and why it's more in the neutral section, because look at this, Stone Edge one-shots us. Like, this is not really a positive lead in general, if the opponent can one-shot us with a charge move, so yeah, it's a little bit of a neutral one. Anyway, we could still win this battle because of our higher attack set, and now we're gonna go to more of the bad leads. Credility. Credility is a bad lead for sure. This Pokemon is going to be able to kind of core break the team. Like, honestly, this Pokemon is kind of tricky. It is still the best to have it on the Pelipper, as you're going to see here as well, but one Rock Slide is going to hurt us quite a bit. They can take 2 Weather Balls, and so you cannot tell me that this is a neutral leader if the opponent can get 2 shields from you and you cannot really do anything against it. They decided to use a shield here, which they didn't have to. Like, they would have still be able to survive this one. But I guess, yeah, they could have also thought that this might be something like the Hurricane or whatever. And I'm forced to go for another shield here as well, going shields down. Luckily, they don't get to another move, which is going to be okay for us. But now we're going to, yeah, have that shield disadvantage, which is kind of awkward. At least we can still go for a charge move against the opponent's Toxapex. Swapping out here is definitely the way to go, as they have 2 Pokemon in the back that can deal with it. Honestly, I am always kind of shocked on how much damage a Toxapex does with that Sludge Wave. Like, honestly, this is not what's supposed to happen. But here I decided to go for the bait, which in the end of the day was not the ideal play, because they have another Water type in the back in the Jellicent. But luckily, the opponent did not know that this is not a discharge here, and so I decided to use a shield. And I can go back into my Pelipper, try to reach that Hurricane, and this is going to be insanely important, because without that damage, I would definitely struggle quite a bit. They're forced to go for a Shadow Ball here. Could have stopped out, to be fair. Was kind of obvious play that they go straight for that Shadow Ball. But yeah, now I should be able to survive a Surf here still, and the opponent decides to forfeit anyway. So let's move on to the next one. Credility. Credility again. So we have 2 Credilities here back to back, and both of them are again kind of more neutral ones. Let's see how they're gonna play this matchup here. They decided to use a shield straight away, even though I was not even able to go for the Hurricane, which is kind of hilarious to me. And now, honestly, I should try to go up to the Hurricane. Let's see if okay, I'm not going to do this. But, like, this is what I mean. Like, you're still going to have to invest at least 2 shields here. And this game is still, I think, something that they would be able to align themselves on. Anyway, we're going to decide to go into the Diggersby way too late. Like, this was a huge mistake to go that late into the Diggersby, because if I swapped straight away, I would have been able to outspeed them. I do generate energy quite a bit faster than the opponent does. But as you're gonna see here, the opponent is going to be able to just get to that Scald just a tiny bit before I would get to that Scorching Sands. I should have maybe went for the Fire Punch before, but it's still okay, because I can get some energy now with the Charjabug. And this Charjabug energy is quite important, because now against Credility we can go for a super effective hit with that Exeter here, going to be able to get them kind of low. And we have a Weather Ball stored here and another Weather Ball as well. I kind of want to go for them back to back here, but they actually called this. They have a Toxapex now, and I'm making a little bit of a mistake here in this battle as well, I think. Here I have to go for a Hurricane, of course. I should be able to outspeed them. But the opponent goes for an interesting play here, which I was not really seeing coming here, but I think I kind of misplayed this here. I should have went for the Weather Ball. I should just went for the Weather Ball, because then the opponent would have been I think they would have maybe went down already from that Weather Ball, which would have been nice. But I was kind of fearing that the Credility would be able to go for a Rock Slide and knock me out, and I thought I should be able to survive this one, and I wasn't. I thought I would be able to just go ahead and go for that another Extra and just knock them out, but I was just not able to. Toxapex is a bad lead. Toxapex is a bad lead. Like, yes, you could argue, okay, you have 2 water types against each other, but like, they have so much more bulk than you. They have so much more fast move pressure than you, which is so important to have in the current meta here, that Pelipper basically, like, most of the time loses. And we're gonna get hard walled here as well, but what we're gonna get out of it is kind of nice, because it is going to be that Whiscash. But the opponent, what I said before as well here, the opponent gonna get back-to-back Scald debuffs against us, which is quite mad. Like, you kinda do not want to have this against you, because now the Exeter is not going to be enough to knock them out, and now also any of my charge moves not going to hurt that Toxapex. If they didn't get the debuff on the Toxapex here, I would have been in a way better spot, because then this charge would have done way more damage, and they would have been basically into range for my Diggersby. But like this, I'm going to be in a shield disadvantage now, which is going to be quite an awkward thing for me to be in, especially against something like the Quagsire. And my only play is to try to catch a Stone Edge, but I was a little bit too greedy here sometimes, which is something that, yeah, just happens. I kind of wanted to, yeah, go up a little bit higher here and try to go for the Weather Ball one too late. Yeah, win the CMP tie, but this is going to be a Stone Edge against me, and so they're going to be able to just use another shield. They are going to be able to knock me out, as we saw already, and this is why I say again, like, Quagsire is not a positive matchup for you. Like, this is just a neutral one. And now they can go for the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is doing some decent damage against me, and it is going to be a little bit of a tough one now to come back from that. I can still go for the Scorching Sands. We have to hope that this is going to knock them out. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, and so we are in a very tough spot, as I can go for another move, and they still have a move stored, and so Toxapex is going to be able to knock us out. But again, quite an unfortunate game there with the double Scald debuff. I still think I had some play if I didn't get this. Anyway, horrible lead again here, Kingdra. You have to stay in for a little bit. You have to really play around Kingdra. Like, Kingdra is a Pokemon that you don't really want to face. Kind of funny how this Pokemon now all of a sudden kind of got a lot of usage. But as you can see, we're going to go into our Charger Bug. We're going to be able to go for that Exeter, as they call it, catch it on their own Charger Bug. That's actually kind of fine for me, because I will be able to just do quite decent damage against them with that. I can go for another one in time here as well. They decided to go for their own fast move again. They're overfarming by quite a bit, and I have to hope they can still just survive one and get to another one in time as well. It's going to be a little bit tricky. I think they might be at 4 now or 5. Let's see. I can still reach mine in time. That's kind of nice. So there was a CMP tie as well, so for me the best play is to just let go through whatever they want to go for, but they actually decide to not even use a shield, and so it's Kingdra here with 2 shields against my Pelipper, which has a Weather Ball at least. Weather Ball double resisted against the opponent, is still going to be able to catch that shield from them as I swap out into the Toxapex. I was able to overfarm to a Hurricane, which is quite important, as I can now go for that Scorching Sands. Can we finally get a debuff with Scorching Sands here? We don't. Honestly, like, it is ridiculous. Like, you saw already the scores in this video, and I think it's the same percentage for getting the debuff. Like, what is, I don't know what is happening. My Diggersby is bugged. Can someone, like, I don't know, fix that one for me, please? But now we're gonna take too much damage here from the opponent. We can still go for a Scorching Sands, but because we still have that Hurricane stored, we're going to be fine here, especially because we still have a shield, as now we can go for a back-to-back Scorching Sands against the opponent, knock out that Toxapex. We can go for the swap, go for the Hurricane, knock out the opponent's Kingdra, and win this battle. So, this one going to be it also for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I was able to get a 5-0 here at the end as well with this team. So, definitely a solid team to run. Feel free to copy this, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.